Welcome to the Science of Fiction HFY Galaxy Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from HFY Galaxy Tales. Where humanity always finds a way, the councils debate the lights inside. The Grand Council chamber dimmed as the message played again on the central screen. A trembling alien voice cried, "Do not engage the humans. They do not retreat. They do not surrender. They laugh while dying." Then came the sound of explosions, fire, and silence. The chamber was quiet. 25 alien leaders sat frozen in their seats. The message had been sent by Admiral Vorak, leader of the Drexa fleet. His ships had gone to test Earth's defenses. None returned. High Chancellor Koval of the Zarth Collective stood slowly. His skin was gray and his voice sharp. "This is the fourth fleet to vanish," he said. "All because of one species. One planet. One mistake." A furry ambassador from the Kaleri tribe raised her paw. "Humans were peaceful once," she said, "weren't they? They signed the Unity Treaty. They joined trade talks." "No," growled the insectoid General Krentok. "They never signed. They only listened, and then they left. Quiet like predators." Another screen lit up. A clip played. A human soldier was seen standing alone, bleeding, surrounded by armored enemies. He smiled. Then he charged. No fear. No hesitation. Ambassador Velrix of the Soteli spoke, his many eyes blinking slowly. "Why do they not fear death?" No one answered. Chancellor Koval turned to his advisor. "List every known engagement with humans." The advisor tapped a panel. The screen changed again. Battle of Larnik Outpost. 1,200 humans defended against 30,000 attackers. They won. Siege of New Terra. Civilians fought with kitchen knives, defeated armored units. Prisoner uprising on Zatanin. Unarmed human prisoners broke free, disabled entire station. The list went on and on. Each time, the numbers were impossible. The humans should have lost. But they never did. A young ambassador from the AVA race, with glowing blue skin, asked, "Are they using secret weapons?" General Krentok shook his head. "No, advanced tech. No psionics. Just rage, strategy, endurance." The Vrel diplomat finally stood. She was from a peaceful race, known for their art and songs. Her voice was soft. "We sent a scout ship to Earth, only to observe. But they saw us. We tried to leave. One of their ships followed." "What happened?" asked Koval. "They fired a warning shot. Just one. It burned through our shielding. They didn't chase us, they just showed what they could do." A hush fell over the room. Another ambassador from the Skarn Empire stood up. He was tall, armored, and always proud. "I faced them once. On Delta Prime, I saw a child barely adult pick up a fallen gun and charge our line. She screamed, 'Go home,' as she fired. She hit every target. No training, just fury." Silence. Again, Koval turned back to the group. "We need answers. Why are they so dangerous? What makes them so human?" His advisor stepped forward. "It's not their weapons, not their numbers. It's their will. They don't break. Even when alone, even when bleeding, they keep fighting." Velrix tapped his fingers together. "We once believed pain would stop them. It does not. We thought fear would stop them. It does not. We tried kindness. They only watched." "They are a threat," said General Krentok. "Danger. I propose a full embargo on Earth. No trade. No contact. Isolate them." "No," said the Vrel diplomat quietly. "Do not provoke them. They only attack when attacked. But when they strike back, they don't stop." The room tensed. Koval raised a hand. "So what do we do? Fear them, fight them, ignore them?" The ambassador from the Relari leaned forward. "I once asked a human what scared them most. He said, ourselves. What we become when we have to fight." A shadow passed over the chamber. Every delegate seemed to feel it. The truth was simple. Earth was not the strongest. Not the biggest. Not the most advanced. But they were the most dangerous. Because humans had something no other race could understand. They had limits. But they didn't care. Koval looked at the screen one last time. Admiral Vorak's last words echoed again. "Do not engage the humans." The council voted. Earth was now officially declared a red-level threat. The highest danger rating in the galaxy. No contact without approval. No fleets near their space. And under no condition, ever, should anyone start a war with Earth. As the council adjourned, Krentok muttered to himself, "We called them savages once. Now we pray they never get angry again. But in deep space, something else was happening. Earth had gone silent. Too silent. No trade, no movement. Just waiting, and the galaxy feared silence more than war. Asterisk the prisoner and the general. Asterisk the prison was built under rock, deep in the ice caves of the Zarn homeworld. Its walls were thick, the guards were veterans, and the cells were made to hold the galaxy's worst criminals. But today, the guards were afraid. They walked slowly. They didn't speak. They avoided Cell 9. Inside Cell 9, a single human sat, chained to the wall. His uniform was torn. His face was bruised. Blood dried at the corner of his mouth, but he smiled, like he wasn't afraid at all. General Raxel, leader of the Zarn military, watched through the glass. "How long has he been like that?" he asked. 3 days, the officer replied. "No food, no water. He just sits and smiles." Raxel narrowed his eyes. "Bring me his file." The officer handed him a tablet. It showed the prisoner's name, Sergeant Marcus Vale, Earth Defense Forces. Survivor of the Larnak outpost. Captured after single-handedly destroying an armored convoy with nothing but stolen explosives. The general entered the cell alone. The door hissed shut behind him. Marcus looked up and grinned. "You must be the boss alien." Raxel didn't smile. "You are not in control here." "I didn't ask to be," Marcus said, leaning back. "You wanted a human. Now you've got one." The general stepped closer. "We want information. Give it, and your suffering ends." Marcus chuckled. "You think this is suffering? Try winter in Alaska with no power." Raxel slammed his hand against the wall. "Why don't you fear death?" Marcus looked straight into his eyes. "Because we've met it, and we made it wait." The room grew colder. Raxel sat across from him. "You're alone, you're beaten. Why resist?" Marcus leaned forward. "Because we never fight alone. Even when we are Ulust," Raxel growled. "Did I?" Marcus whispered. The general paused. He had seen soldiers cry, beg, even offer secrets. But this one didn't break. His body was hurt, but his eyes were sharp, calm, dangerous. Raxel tried another tactic. "Tell me why your kind is so violent." Marcus smiled again. "You call us violent. But who invaded Earth first? Who dropped the first bomb?" Said nothing. "You think we like war?" Marcus said. "We don't, but we're very, very good at it." He tilted his head. "You know why we win? Not because we're stronger. Not because we're smarter, but because we fight like it's our last breath, because it usually is." Raxel frowned. "And that makes you proud." Marcus looked away. "No, it makes us human." A long silence followed. Outside the cell, alarms suddenly went off. Lights turned red. The officer outside screamed into his radio. "He's escaping. Cell 9 breach." Raxel stood in shock. "What is this?" Marcus yanked his hands free from the chains. The metal had been weakened. Somehow, he moved fast. Too fast. He slammed the general against the wall. "You wanted to see why we're scary?" he growled. "This is why." Outside, screams echoed. Guards fell one by one. Cameras blinked out. The security system crashed. No one knew how Marcus had done it. But the prison was falling. Raxel gasped. "You can't." Marcus held him firmly. "You talk like we're monsters. But we only become monsters when you leave us no choice." He released the general and disappeared into the shadows. Moments later, an explosion rocked the facility. The roof cracked, snow poured. Hours later, rescue teams found Raxel alive but wounded. Everyone else was gone. Marcus had vanished. Back at the council, Raxel stood before the delegates, arm in a sling, burns across his side. His voice was quiet. "We tortured him, starved him, chained him." But he smiled, until the very end. Velrix asked, "How did he escape?" Raxel didn't answer. "I saw in his eyes something I have never seen before. Something cold, not anger, not hate, just certainty. The kind that says, 'You will not stop me.'" The council listened closely. "He told me something," Raxel continued. "He said, 'We never start the war. But if you bring it to our door, we finish it.'" Silence again filled the chamber. Chancellor Koval nodded. "Then we must never open that door." But it was already too late. Earth knew. Earth was watching. And Earth was preparing. The galaxy had tried to control the humans. They tried to break them. But the truth was simple. You can't break something that refuses to bend. Earth's silence before the storm *, the galaxy was quiet. But it was not peaceful. No ships had left Earth's orbit in months. No diplomats, no trade, no signals. Just silence, and silence from humans was never a good sign. Admiral Yearn of the Zalari fleet stared at his star maps. "Where are their fleets?" he asked. "Where are their ambassadors?" A young officer replied, "Gone, sir. All recalled to Earth. No contact since." Yearn's scales twitched. "They're not hiding. They're waiting. On dozens of worlds." Sensors began to buzz. Unidentified ships were detected near the edges of neutral space. Sleek, dark, fast, no names. No symbols, just cold, perfect steel. Earth's fleets had launched. A council meeting was called in panic. Dozens of alien leaders filled the chamber. Some demanded answers. Others whispered in fear. The humans had not spoken. Not even once. But their silence spoke louder than war. "They're planning something," said Velrix. "But we don't know what." General Krentok slammed a clawed hand on the table. "Let's strike first." "No," cried the Vrel ambassador. "They have not attacked. Do not provoke them." Koval raised his hand. "We must understand their plan." An urgent message arrived on the Council's secure channel. It showed a moon orbiting a gas giant, a mining colony, small, peaceful, destroyed, but not by humans. A pirate group had crossed into Earth's old territory. Thinking it was abandoned, they took prisoners. They killed a child. 3 days later, the pirates were gone. Their base turned to dust. No survivors. No witnesses. Only a symbol left behind, one single word burned into the rock: remember. The message was clear. Earth may be quiet, but it never forgets. On Earth, inside a hidden base deep under the Arctic ice, commanders sat around a glowing table. Old generals, new leaders, civilian advisors, soldiers, scientists, all watching a screen showing every planet that had once voted to ignore humanity. General Reeves spoke calmly. "We gave them a chance. They saw what we were. And they still feared us." A woman in a lab coat nodded. "So what now?" Reeves looked at the red dots spreading across the map. "Now we show them what we become when we are cornered." In space, human ships began to appear near major trade routes. Not attacking, not threatening, just watching, like wolves in the trees. Aliens panicked. Fleets were scrambled. Colonies were reinforced, but the humans did nothing. Nothing, until a border patrol ship from the Zarn Empire fired a warning shot near a human recon drone. A single plasma burst, meant to scare. The drone did not move. It recorded, then vanished. Hours later, the Zarn patrol ship disappeared. The wreckage drifted. In space, its hull carved with another message: no more warnings. In the council chamber, fear had turned to despair. "We made them into this," said Raxel. "We shaped the monster. Now we can't control it." The Rilary ambassador stood slowly. "They asked for peace. We ignored them. They fought with honor. We called them savages. Now they do nothing, and it terrifies us." Koval stared out the chamber window at the stars. "They don't want war, but they will never kneel." A new signal flashed across every council screen. It was from Earth. A single message: "We don't seek revenge, we seek understanding. But if war comes again, there will be no survivors. Simple, calm, final, no threats, no insults, just a promise." General Krentok finally said the words no one wanted to say. "They are not the most powerful race, not the richest, not the oldest, but they are the most dangerous, because they feel, because they choose. And when they choose war, they do not stop." The council voted to send a message back. A request for peace, for open dialogue, but no reply came. Earth had spoken already, and it would not speak again, until it was necessary. On a remote planet, a young alien soldier asked his captain, "Why do they scare us so much?" The captain stared at the sky. "Because they are us, but without fear." He paused, "And when they fight, they do it with their whole heart." In the darkness beyond the stars, human fleets moved like shadows. Not conquering, not attacking, just waiting, waiting for the next strike, waiting for the galaxy to decide. But this time, the galaxy would think twice before waking the one species it could never fully understand. The species that does not start wars, but always ends them.